Ashley. We're going to do a recap of the past 2 days because I didn't go live last night. Um, and I also have a surprise for you guys here in just a moment. Be right back, guys. All right, guys, welcome back. So, as I mentioned, I have a special guest today. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce him now.
Hi, everyone.
So, this is Javier. He is in the same class as me. And we're kind of just going to do a recap of both of our experiences so far in school. You want to tell a little bit more about yourself?
Where should I start? Well, first of all, thanks for inviting me onto the Truck Driver Network. Pretty cool. I didn't realize it existed. Thanks to Ashley and I breaking the ice today. It was cool to find out that the organization even exists. I figured there was more of us. Yeah, my name is Javier. And yeah, I'm an aspiring, well, not aspire. I'm an out gay aspiring truck driver, and I'm in school with Ashley.
Well,
What else?
I don't know. So I guess we're just going to do a recap of both of our times so far. So how did you find out about school and everything?
Well, honestly, I was just doing Google searches, and I was looking for sponsored technical school that also offered job placement, and this just happened to be local. My family lives in Kissimmee, so I found these guys that were close, and they fit the bill, and I just kind of did eeny meeny miny mo and sent in an application, and I ran with it.
Yeah.
Met him.
Well, I was doing research on different CDL schools. There was only two currently that were hiring out of Florida that I could find. And that was Warner, which would put you through Roadmaster, and then Pam Transport, and their partner with Driver Solutions. And I ended up just sticking with Driver Solutions. So yeah.
I should have been more specific. Actually, I did. You're right. That I was of course looking for someone that was within a reasonable radius of Kissimmee, and I found these guys, Driver Solutions, and I found Cypress. Cypress has basically had me on the back burner for over a month with no responses. They don't respond.
I was looking into Cypress, but I was like, flatbed just doesn't seem like it would fit me that well.
I mean, I wasn't informed enough. I think I fell in the right place anyways, because they're not touchless freight, they're flatbed, there's all kinds of other things.
Right.
They had more incentives to get you through school financially, but I don't know about their job placement and everything. And to be honest, when it's all said and done, I mean, I'm literally still waiting for the recruiter that I reached out to a month ago who said they were processing my application to get back. So yeah, so I think
Goodness.
yeah.
So let's see. What did Jess say? Jess said, "Welcome to the organization, Javier."
Hey, Jess.
So let's see. I mean, I guess give us a brief recap on your time so far in school.
Well, you know what? I could give you a I did think of remind me to tell you about today. I had um, an interesting day today in terms of just well, how would I say it? Just kind of awareness, and of course, clashing with uh, with the status quo and with a little bit of bigotry at school and that sort of thing. It was an interesting moment. Yeah. So anyway, so school's been cool. School's been interesting. I've my personal story is that my car actually died on me right before I started school, so I wasn't going to be able to start on 2 Mondays ago, but I ended up having to dig real deep into my resourceful cap, and I rent a car from Uber that I pay an exorbitant amount of money for, and I Uber at night so I can be mobile and go see my family on the weekends. And so it's been challenging. School itself is, the instructors are great. They take their time. They they'll go over it and over it and over it. It's a small amount of number of people in our group, so like I'm super comfortable,
Right.
that I'll get it. Skills wise, I mean, I don't think we've covered anything astronomical, but I can start the truck and back it up, so that's a start.
I mean, that's half of the battle.
Yeah.
Um, so going back to what you said about the bigotry in school that you ran into today, what all happened?
Well, so it's interesting. I won't name names because I don't think that's appropriate, and I'll keep it vague. But just the conversation. It was the boys talking amongst themselves, and I think the concept of the suspicion of someone being gay came up while I was standing there, and I don't particularly find myself to be the beacon of masculinity or masking anything, nor am I misleading anyone. But apparently, nobody had any idea that I was gay.
Well, even I told you earlier today that I had no idea.
I had no idea. As far as I'm concerned, feathers fly out of my mouth when I talk. I think I don't know. I just am who I am. I have no idea. But I mean, but so anyway, so
Right.
so they're standing there, and somebody who may have been an instructor said, well, I I don't have a problem with homosexuality, but I think it's wrong. And he stood there and made eye contact with me, expecting me, I think, waiting for my approval or a nod. And I took a moment to say, I'd like to clarify really quickly for everyone at the table because they were all starting to join in. I was like, I'm an out gay male. My divorce was from a Chilean man. I've never been with a woman, and I think this conversation is ever so slightly ignorant. And I just walked away.
Right.
And so, of course, I tried not to blow up, but it angered me, because they just were going down this path that was so what I figured I'd encounter in this industry. And actually, it's interesting because right before that was when you told me about this group, and I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I knew that I wouldn't be the only person who's LGBTQ in this community, in the truck driving community. But the reason I want to join being on the road is because I'm really bored with dealing with people, to be honest, and I look forward to being 2 weeks out there, and anyway, so stuff like that. So yeah, so after I had that moment, everyone went dead quiet, and I walked off. I was just like, "You guys are fucking idiots." Pardon my French, and
Oh,
so.
fine. We're all truck drivers. We cut some stuff on here.
So I hopped in the truck, and I was doing my 90 degrees, and doing very well at them, and the instructor made it a point to come right up to the window and asked me to pause, and climbed up. He was a little overweight. Well, I guess I just revealed who it was, and just was visibly shaken and say, "Listen, I just want to make sure that I'm so sorry. I don't mean any disrespect to anyone." He was like, he was worried, and I was like, "Listen, it happens." I said, "I appreciate you approaching me and trying to apologize." I said, "I think
Right.
there's a time and place for things, and
We're here to learn. It's not about
right, right." And he got
who likes
he was
who does.
he was visibly shaken. He thought I was gonna, I'm not gonna
Right.
say anything to anybody or report him. Rightfully should have, but not
Right.
going to.
Well, unfortunately, the school that we're going to, if you notice in the name, it's a Christian-based trucking school.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So did you not realize in the T
Oh,
Like
God.
the C is a capital, but then the T is
Oh, I didn't pay
like.
attention to the school because the recruiting company, Driver Solutions, was who I didn't realize career tech had anything to do with them. There, that's just now. But anyways, so
But
that
yeah,
was the
it's
interesting
a
moment
Christian.
today.
And I'm not saying that all Christians are bad because I'm a Christian myself, but I don't appreciate or like the blatant bigotry. I personally, at the school itself, I have never ran into any. Thank God, because I'm not the type of person that's just gonna stand there and take shit from anybody.
Right.
Um, but I guess I am in a way. I was shocked, honestly, because I thought I was gonna, as a trans woman and everything else, as many of you guys know. Um, I've been out and proud for 4 years, been on hormones for 3, as I was talking to you about that earlier. Um, and I can't say that I wasn't nervous coming into this industry at first. And then, because I was like, well, schooling and this and the other and training. But so far, I haven't ran into anybody that's looked at me wrong, said anything, anything bad towards me or anything like that. Like everybody just is cool, calm, collected, and just goes on about their day. And that's not something that I was necessarily expecting.
It's interesting because I can definitely see if I take a step back and look at the whole situation. It's a let's see how it goes for me because I'm very much so an extrovert. I am outgoing socially. I'm very outspoken. I am animated, which is why I was shocked that nobody could. I was like, really, everyone? I didn't. How do people not know I'm gay?
Well, I mean, I should have taken some hints whenever you're like sitting there calling me Shelby and this, that, and the other at lunch
Right,
and everything else.
right.
But for some reason, I was just
I
like,
was
oh,
fishing. I was like, "Are you gonna bite?" I know you're my peeps. I can feel it. But
I had no idea.
right. But so anyway, so I think also, I do put myself out there a lot. I do joke around a lot. I do like to engage in
Chris
conversation with
said he
people.
hasn't met. Wait, what did he say? He hasn't met us yet. He's pretty straight acting compared to us. Well, I mean, you don't really have.
Oh, listen,
You
I'm
don't have
also
your stereotypical. So
I'm also
there's.
on camera for the first time. Don't make me hey girl, y'all. But
Hey, that's fine. We're
but
all gay here.
interesting. But you're all gay here.
We're all gay here.
Ew, get me off.
Well,
I mean, off we're getting off camera.
No.
No. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Estimated
So, anyways,
1,000 LGBTQ drivers in the industry. Or
I love that. I love that. But so I was gonna say I guess because I'm a little bit more out there and joke, and then I'm telling all kinds of jokes because as soon as they drop them, I'm not a quiet person. They drop
Right.
it, they drop a vulgar joke, I drop a vulgar joke.
Right.
So I think yeah, I mean even with my roommate, I'm already
Right.
about to kick him in the face. Poor guy, he doesn't realize. I don't know. I don't know how oppressed he realizes he is, but he's pretty oppressed.
Well, it might just be the area that he grew up in. I mean, all of us came from different races, colors, backgrounds, the
Yeah.
whole 9 yards. So, I
Yeah.
mean, some of us were very closeted growing up. I know I was.
Yeah.
Not sure how your upbringing turned out.
Super macho Latin. There's
Okay.
what was the thing I used to hear all the time? My children could be anything. I love my children unconditionally as long as they're not faggots or drug addicts. Well,
I'm sorry, that's messed
that
up.
was literally what they said. Well, I was like, check, gotcha. So I'm a person in recovery, by the way. So yeah, so it was one of those things where I was like, now what? And then of course, as you'd expect, they still love me. Everything was a challenge, but yeah, I did all kinds of adjusting of how I guess that's also part of how I present because I grew up so afraid of presenting any other way that
Right.
I never really I let my freak flag fly plenty, and
All right. And I did too. Like, once I became an adult and I moved out and everything else and got away from my family. And that's all thanks to the organization and how I met Bobby and Ricky and the whole everybody.
Oh, actually, show me one of Bobby's
Um,
videos. Fabulous.
Yeah.
Loving
Showed
it.
Bobby in drag. Um, oh, just said that he wasn't expecting that. Anyway, says hashtag recovery rocks. It does.
Yeah, yeah, it feels better. It feels better.
So, as far as continuing on the same subject of schooling and everything.
Schooling, yes. Sorry, back to that.
Oh, you're fine. We're all ramble off topic and everything else.
Sweet.
But what's one thing that you can honestly say that you've struggled with so far? I know you haven't gotten as far along as me. I mean, you're just now getting to your 90-degree alley docking today. What's been the most hardest thing?
The hardest thing, maybe I would say, like actual technical driving stuff. When you're backing, I understand angles, I understand backing, I understand, I understand the concept of offsetting.
Right.
It's when I lose my targets in my mirror. I'm extremely visual, and it's when I lose my targets, all of a sudden there's that scared little boy in me is like, which way do I go? And I start to overcorrect. But like the couple of times that my anxiety's been in check, and I'm like, I'm a boss. I got this. I have done some really like spot on.
I've watched you do some really good maneuvers, and I was kind of impressed.
I mean, yeah, I'm not an idiot behind the wheel. I definitely am comfortable in larger vehicles. I've driven, SUVs with boats behind them. I had a landscaping service that I ran myself with a long trailer at the back of my Honda Passport. So like, I'm familiar with pivots and axles and all that stuff.
Right.
But that sort of thing. And I think my biggest challenge for me in school has been that it's like I'll do a maneuver or two, I'll taste the success, it feels good, and then if I do a wrong one, it's I get nervous because I think to myself, what happens when I'm out there? And I forget this is school, and so they're trying to teach you to do it in one or two shots. I've seen truck drivers in real life that take 18 shots before they get into a spot.
And it doesn't matter as long as
Right.
you get into that space
Without damaging anything, which
school
I
has
would.
some way to do it because they're trying to get you set up for the exam.
Right. But I'm of course, I'm jumping ahead and I'm being super critical and I'm so worried about it.
And
that
I
I'm like,
was doing that too.
and I'm like, I'm gonna fail. I'm like, no, okay.
And I did too,
Right.
especially so the two hardest ones that I had, and I will go right out and say it was my parallel to the left and the right, and my 45-degree alley dog. Those were the two hardest ones for me.
Starting that tomorrow, I think.
Did you guys get eval on your 90s today?
We're gonna try an eval tomorrow on the 90s and start
Okay.
inching into the 45s
Well,
because we're behind, kind of.
but yeah. So other than that, let's see. What else do you want to talk about besides Big Dicks and fried chicken?
I don't like fried chicken. Um. Oh my gosh! You know what? I think it's kind of it's cool. It's definitely cool that there's what 15,000.
Bobby, is that you commenting under the group, or is that Derek?
What happened?
It just says the organization name. I can't see. I don't know exactly who it is. I
Oh,
guarantee it's probably Bobby.
I'm ancient.
Bobby
I can't find
says-
my readers.
I'm gonna assume it's Bobby and says, "Don't get in your head. We all wake up daily and have moments we can't hit the broadside of a barn." That's Bobby. I can tell by the way it's written.
Right on.
Um,
Yeah, you know what? For me, like my personal uh experience, fear is just a general thing. I'm just afraid that I won't succeed. I mean, I've like I mentioned, I'm a person in recovery, and this is the path that makes sense for me. Just because I've really gotten over the whole point of I've done management jobs and supervise. I've been in administration for so many years, and that's literally the path that I was always on. And I'm really having a hard time dealing with people. And
right.
this, the and not that I mean, it's great. There's you can reach out to people, you can speak to them. You have groups, you can get on the phone, but the idea of disconnecting for a couple of weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks at a time, just getting on the road, making a decent, salary, being able to help my mom, it all just sounds like it would just put me in a place where I'd be able to breathe again.
Right.
So,
Well, I do have a kind of an interesting question for you.
shoot.
Because as most of you guys know, he is in my class, but I ended up going ahead of him. How did that make you feel seeing me succeed so early in the classes and going off ahead of you guys?
I would like to say that I could compartmentalize how I felt seeing you succeed, but I saw you and a couple other people just really killing it. And in general, I have that I'm not good enough feeling that I grew up with, and something's wrong with me, and I'm incomplete. So whenever someone around me is entering at the same place, I don't take into account that there's a different story, a different learning curve, that that you were, what's it called, a yard dog for years,
Yeah.
and that you're familiar with trucks. So my knee jerk reaction is to just feel like, okay, I'm in the wrong place. I will never get this. Like, it's immediate. It was within 5 minutes. I'm like, fuck, I'm not good enough for this. Like, that's where
Right.
my head goes.
And that's what actually, whenever I started struggling with some of the maneuvers, that's where my head went too.
That's funny. That's funny because
Because
I
I
see
was
you and you
like,
look spectacular. I'm like, Jesus. She knows that. Like, why is she even in school? It's just technicality.
you know how many times people sit there and said that to me since I had started? Like, it was insane.
I mean, I'm absolutely certain that if regulations weren't in place, you could just go out and start driving. Like, I mean, I think you qualify beyond a
Right.
shadow of a doubt. You just have to meet the technical requirements.
Right.
Me, I would probably still crush somebody's Honda and run over a stroller. I still need some schooling, but like,
Right. But no.
but yeah, but to answer your question, how did it make me feel? In the moment, without again, I'm moonlighting. I'm doing Uber like until 2 or 3 in the morning. At school at 7 a.m. Like, I'm not sleeping much. It's
Right.
this is the way it's gonna have to be for me until I get through this. So I'm having a hard time like self-soothing and like
Right.
finding that like that adult perspective of like, okay, that's Ashley. This is you. You're doing fine. Like, I'm doing fine. I haven't tanked out on anything. I think I'm comfortable behind the wheel. I enjoy being up there. I
Right.
like being in the cab. By the way, punchline. I enjoy being behind the cabin. I really do think that I'm gonna like this. I don't know if I'll like it for more than 4, 5, 6 years. Maybe I'll do it till I die. I have no idea.
Right.
But right now, I'm still excited about it. But it made me feel. Yeah, yeah. To be honest, to be vulnerable, threatened. I felt like I wasn't, as skilled or possibly as capable of picking up the skill.
Jess says, how many years clean, Javier, if you don't mind me asking?
The golden question. Here's where I get busted. So, um, I might have alluded to being clean for a very long time. Just over a year and 4 months this time around. I had a sloppy several years after I was divorced from my husband in 2008, 2017. We separated. 2018 we divorced. And prior to that, I was clean for 5 years. But then I got married to a alcoholic cokehead, so that didn't work out.
Mm,
So yeah, so right now I'm at a year and what month is it?
December.
December. So on the 19th, it'll be a year and 3 months.
Okay. Jess said, we were up all hours of the night, so someone is always usually up if you need to talk.
Yeah. That's been okay. That's an interesting conversation I'd like to have, and I don't know. You know what? No, I don't mean in an offensive way, so it's fine. A lot of my friends who are in recovery have cautioned me of the excessive amount of drug use that they know is in the industry. I was like, I don't know of any industry where you don't have drug addicts and alcoholics. So,
Right.
he's like, well, people have
Well,
to stay
that's
up. I'm like,
why.
yeah, I get it, but
So that's why, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 250,000 drivers lost their CDL was due to drug and alcohol.
right,
So I know that one of the instructors had said, well, that actually works out perfect for you guys because that's 250,000 less drivers you have to compete
Right.
with for a job.
right.
And I thought that was, I did kind of feel some type of way about that because I was like, well, that's really rude. I mean, but then again, they were stupid for doing it
Right.
to begin with. But at the same time, I'm also in the same boat of, well, I don't want somebody who's drunk or
Yeah.
high or anything like that behind the wheel of an 80,000 pound missile driving down the highway at 65
Yeah,
knots.
I mean, when it's all said and done, we can live a very safe life, or we could be driving a death machine, if we're not paying attention. I mean, we don't have to be on anything.
Right.
The right amount of fatigue, and we could really hurt somebody. It's true with the regular vehicle, in 18 times more
It's,
possible.
yeah, an 80,000 pound vehicle.
Yeah, but yeah, so a part of me is cautiously listening to all that, but at the same time, I mean, there's no environment. I've gone to different cities. I've hung out with different people. I mean, if you're looking, if you're in that zone and you're not, for me, if you're not grounded, I can relapse at church.
That's a terrible place to relapse.
Well,
But
I'm just saying,
I'm sure.
I'm
So
an eccentric queen, no matter how I present.
just says I was clean 6 months when I got into trucking 9 years ago, and then Robert Armour says I've been clean for 20 years now.
Well, fuck yeah, well, good then.
So you're not the only person in the that's a part of the organization that has a past. Everybody has a past, but
By the way, y'all, that I mean, both sober and normies, as people in the recovery world call it. Please feel free to to direct message me. I'd love to hear and be in touch with other people who are on the same
Yeah.
path.
um,
I mean, and the trucking path as well. I mean, it's just this whole thing is very cool. I love that this community exists. I love that I got to, you know, establish. Hey, yes, me too. But more than anything, like
well, you also
it's
don't.
opened this conversation up that I didn't realize was even going to happen. I mean, I just thought I was going to be like, just grumpy and keep to myself and deal with the bigotry and get through schooling and then figure it out. I didn't
Right.
think.
Well, this is also this is our your this is both of ours first taste into trucking. Um, but the one thing that could happen after schooling, because we do have to go on the road with a mentor for, I think it's minimum 18 days.
Yes, that's what I saw. Yeah.
Um, who knows? We might run into a bigoted trainer, but that's one thing. Because that's the thing is like you have to let Pam know. Like that's the one thing I'm gonna have to do as a trans individual to keep myself protected is be like, hey, I need you to ask this mentor if they're okay with having a trans person on their truck with them.
Right.
Regardless whether it's male or female. I
Right.
don't care exactly who I get as a trainer, but they just need to be open and okay with having a trans person on the
Well,
truck.
luckily it is 2025, and
Well, look at all the blatant bigotry that's still happening.
it is blatant
Even in
bigotry.
20
It is blatant
even in
bigotry, but you
2025.
know what? The law's on our side, and there are absolutely whether they're enforced or not, there are absolutely laws in place to
Right.
protect us now that weren't there before. I mean, I'm 50 years old. I know there's other people who are older than me in the group, but trust me, we're not living in the world we used to live in. I mean, it's still a long way to go, but I mean, just the fact that I mean, I was working in a company in Michigan, which is very progressive, by the way. I highly recommend Michigan. Anybody who hasn't been, it's great state. Very progressive.
Jess actually grew up in Michigan.
Oh,
so
Ferndale's wonderful. Um, love it. And but I was gonna say, just
Derek, I can't come train with you. FST is not a training company.
oh come on.
So just as hey girl, hey, we are gayer than gay over here. But I myself was the queer at Pam 9 years ago, so I get it.
Oh, right on. Oh, so you're with Pam? Hey.
He used to be 9 years ago. He's
Gotcha. Yeah.
currently on medical leave.
Got it. Who do I have to sleep with? I'm just kidding. I mean, kind of. Whatever.
I mean, I don't think there's many people that are probably watching this that would be opposed to it.
I was kidding. Ish.
Ish.
No. You know what? No, that's a whole other
Derek
blog.
says I can hide you in the truck. Well, you know what? That's fine. We'll just do it that way. Get my experience in one way or another, damn it.
Aw.
But no, Derek is our crap. Derek, what do you do again? Senior diversity officer. Shit.
Senior diversity officer.
So he basically vets companies. So we have a whole website. It's called lgbtqvetted.com. And the organization we go through when we vet certain different companies that are sent to us by members of the organization or somebody that we find. We vet the company on like their policies on harassment and everything like that towards LGBTQ individuals and how the company would react and so on and so forth. And then once they pass our requirements, they go on our LGBTQ vetted website. And these are all trucking companies.
Wow.
Some of them, you have to have experience.
Interesting.
Vice president. On the thing it says senior diversity officer.
Well, vice president is a senior officer.
Or whatever. Anyway.
That still meshes.
It's all the same thing. But and then we also have the Driver Memorial Program, which was founded due to one of Bobby's friends He went to trucking school with his wife, with the guy's wife, and he ended up passing away out on the road.
Hmm.
And that's how the whole driving memorial program came to be about. So basically, we try to help get drivers back home if they pass away on the road. There's a statistic. What is it? It's what, a little over 3,000 drivers don't make it home to their families, or something like that.
Wow.
I think that's per year. About 3,000 drivers don't make it home to their families.
Oh wow.
So we kind of try to give visibility to them and help get their driver home. That's why. Um, but that's a little bit more about the organization because I know I gave you a really brief rundown on the organization.
Oh, definitely. It's interesting. We'll talk about it later too. But I have these ideas. I mean, I'm actually. I mean, I don't know what the normal age is for a person to start in this industry. I'm definitely starting late in life. In my for any industry really. I mean, 50s is a hard. It's a hard age to decide to start all over again. But yeah, I have a couple different paths that I've considered. I really like to do be on the road for a while and see what that's all about. I don't know that owner operator is the path that I would like to take, but I certainly have this entrepreneurial idea, and I'd like to kind of look into logistics brokering and seeing what that is like. Um, After getting the experience of being on the road, I think it kind of like would be smart to
Right.
you know yeah, we'll see.
I mean, uh, so 3,286 drivers a year don't make it home to their families.
That's a shit show.
Yeah. And that's due to, accidents on the road, suicide.
Wow.
It's a whole slew of things that happen out on the road. And that's why we also partner with 988, which is the National Suicide Hotline.
Hmm.
For those drivers.
I would, yeah. I mean, I would imagine. It's interesting because I definitely, obviously, or obvious to me and people in recovery, maybe not to the layperson, but like depression and and all the social disorders that can come, either be built in with a person and then get exacerbated by drug use, or the other way around. I've thought about how that could really be, something to without someone keeping an eye on me or anyone, how that can really creep up on you after a couple of weeks on the road by yourself, and how things can. I've definitely considered that. I need to make sure that I have a network,
right,
people to check in with. Other than just the occasional acquaintance and family member. Once every couple of weeks, because it could be. It's one of those. I mean, people need people.
Right. And as um you get more comfortable and everything behind the camera, um Jess says we would love. So Jess said we would love to schedule for a full podcast.
I'm in.
You're in?
Whenever. Yeah.
So
But wait, hold on. I'm super shy. Give me the camera. So no, I'm joking. Yeah, no, I'm down. I'm into it. Let's do it.
Bobby says we have drivers starting in their 70s, and he says also feel free to share your journey. So you can also, since you're now a member of the organization and everything, you can go live on the group at any point in time, and even you can check in after I'm gone.
Mentor me.
I'm gone away from school and this, that, and the other, and you can share your own journey and your own path and this, that, and the other.
You're kicking. Ashley's kicking ass, by the way. I don't know because I'm just joining today. How much you're sharing with the group, but you are doing really, really well.
I appreciate it. Thank
you. You are doing really well, and it is visible. I'm not the only one who thinks so. People are like, "Oh, Ashley, we like literally." It's why that buzzes around. Like, why is she even here? It's just a technicality, which is why you're ahead and why you're testing out early. But my train just ran away from me. I forgot where I was going with that.
It's fine. It happens to me too.
But yeah, no, I'll jump on with you a couple times if you don't mind, and then
yeah, just let me know anytime you want to hop on the live. I can share you.
You usually do. Is this about 30 minutes?
It depends. 30 minutes to an hour, depending on what all subjects we get on and whatever we ramble on about. Just depends.
I'm thinking we can do like
whenever you're on the podcast with the big gay trucker himself, or Jess or Derek, it can be hour and a half.
Some important topics like the importance of trimming nose hair before podcasting. or while on the road. Um, yeah, that sort of thing I think is vital. Somebody today, they really put a. I was like, well, I made some joke. Somebody was like, "What do you put in your hair?" I was like, "Oh, well, mousse and spray." They're like, "You're gonna have to start wearing a cap." I was like, "Stop it." I was like, "Is that required? I can't judge." Shut up. I'll deal with it, I guess.
But no, do you have any questions for me specifically about anything?
Nothing. It's a lot to take in. No, nothing that pops into mind right now. But yeah.
Okay.
Oh, look, you got messages.
Big dicks to big rigs. Really, Jess?
Really? It's not all inclusive. You have. Oh, I see. Oh, got it. Got it. Just will put anything in their mouth. I got it. No.
He's our resident something. I don't even know how to describe that thing.
Risque.
Risque doesn't even cover it.
Good for you, Jess. That your freak flag. Freak flag, not fag. Flag.
And I guess the reason why, honestly, I didn't know that you were gay is because I'm used to being around people that have a very, very hard list, like the gay list or whatever, and you, for some reason to me, I don't hear it with you.
You know what? I worked a lot in administration. I've done a lot of management jobs and executive assistant jobs. And even though, I mean, it was for an interior designer and a person in the musical industry, it's not that it was not allowed, but I just always minded the way that I articulate and that I enunciate, and that I just found that I was received more professionally, not necessarily as a heterosexual, but just with a certain tone. So yeah, I
Right.
try to not sound ignorant.
Aw, Tampa Bay Gay TV. Thanks. Great discussion. Glad we tuned in.
Oh, oh my.
Jess says big fat fag.
Oh, Jess.
He's something. I mean, he just, you know.
Clearly a former choir boy.
Well, Pastor Jeff always said he was the best altar boy, from what I was told.
Well, there's all kinds of Jews happening up in here.
I know, right?
That's fucking cool. But then also, yeah, I will definitely. I'm gonna follow along. There's a lot of reading on here for me to catch up on, and
I know, right?
meeting
I gotta
some
go back
people.
through and I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch everything.
Oh my gosh, I know. Oh my gosh, are people gonna send me disgusting direct messages? Yay!
No, because they don't know. Technically, they don't know who you are because they don't even know how to spell your name.
Yeah, but I said hello to the on the group chat.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
Why do you got to put that out there for everybody to know? If you don't
I thought
want,
it was
if
public
you,
knowledge. Oh, I'm just kidding. I'm not anywhere. I'm anonymous. Fuck, I thought it was. How does this work? I thought all those 1,800 people that with the group. When I said hello, everyone was like, "Oh, hey, he's part of the group." No. Just kidding. Nobody knows me.
no,
I'm going back to Canada.
oh no. Well, we also are, so I remember I told you we help a little over 20,000 drivers. I forgot to mention that that was worldwide.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we are worldwide now.
Oh, you know what I'm looking forward to? I actually just visited Canada for the first time before I moved back down in November, and I thought Toronto was lots of fun.
Never been. I would love to go though. It sounds like it's gorgeous up there.
It's fun.
At least in the summertime.
Even the
Winter,
homeless
I
people
don't
are
like
having
the
a
cold.
blast up there. It's a fun
Jess
city.
will be sending those messages. Fuck.
Wow.
Rest in peace. Block him.
Look at my face. Here's me being shocked. It's okay.
Jess is a no holds barred kind of gay.
It's okay. It's okay. I've seen all kinds of, and I've seen all the holes in the bar kind of a gay, so it's cool.
Oh, you know about glory holes too?
Oh, honey, I'm 50. Honey, I'm 50, and I was closeted until I was like 21. Of course, I know about glory holes. How do you, anyways?
I was just curious.
Oh, please.
But
Is
no.
that like a whole separate blog? Like,
I mean, we can later on down the line.
right? Truck stop glory holes. Hey,
Truck stop glory holes.
I met you. Were you circumcised in Seattle?
You taste familiar.
Right. You need to wash more often. Your balls are extra salty. But yeah, so that took a nosedive south.
Yeah.
South of classy. Whatever. I know you told me.
Or trashy, not classy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm into that. I like.
At least I'm trashy, not classy. I can't speak from Can't speak for anybody else on the group, but
I enjoy raunchy, but I also enjoy posture. Like it's weird,
Right.
You know.
But no, I guess we're gonna start drawing things down to a close. Unless you have anything else you want to talk about, share.
Drawing a blank, but I'm definitely joining again soon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get you. I'll get you hooked up with Jess as far as getting scheduled for another podcast.
Okay.
I'll share your information to him, and we'll go from there.
Do we do European, or do we like, and like, or neither?
I don't know. We can
Just kidding. Hey. Enjoy.
Anyways, guys, we're gonna get off of here. It's been great talking with you, Javier.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Anyways, guys, tune in next time. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all. That was interesting.
Really?